What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about why I am getting Dragon Age the Veilguard. This is a video series I do where I talk about an upcoming game and discuss whether I'm getting it, not getting it, or I'm somewhere in between. And oh boy, here we are. Now, there's a couple times a year, I would say it's probably yearly, and I make these videos on a couple controversial games. Right? I think I made this on Star Wars Outlaws, and I mean, should I have gotten that game? Maybe, maybe not. But it always sometimes it gets me into hot water, when I make it on specific games. So I do expect that, with Dragon Age. Be kind, be respectful. No, honestly, you can go off. You let me know in the comments if you're getting the game or not. I truly don't care what you do with your money, just in the same way that hopefully people don't care what I do with my money, right? I am getting this game off of one thing, okay? Let me just boil it down quite easily. Hope. I'm getting this game off of hope. I have said this a lot, and as we get closer and closer, some things scare me a little bit more. I'm not like fully on this game's side, but I think I'm generally on the game side. So as we've gotten closer, some things have scared me, and other things have made me kind of more reassured and pushed me to that hopeful direction. But one thing I've said over and over again as we've gotten closer to Dragon Age is I want them to succeed, and if everything comes together, this can be a very special game. Now, we don't know if everything comes together. That's the fun thing with making these kind of videos, where I can just kind of ramble on my current thoughts of Dragon Age. Because right now, it's like, I don't know if everything's going to come together, but I'm getting it off the hope that it does. Overall, I have been happy with what we've seen. The only thing, well, there's a couple things. I guess I shouldn't say only. One being the art direction. I'm not a huge fan of the art direction. That's something that I feel, I don't know, is going to have to win me over over time, but I definitely don't like almost the cartoony, like we've seen the Darkspawn, and I don't know, just the colors. I think the colors is the main thing to me. The colors that stand out, too bright, not that I need the game to just be like this depressingly dark color, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. So I don't want to say that's a small thing, because you're looking at the game the whole time, I imagine, right? I imagine you're looking at the screen. So yeah, it could be something that upsets me as we go forward, but I would say that honestly is my big negative that I can see right now. There are things I'm worried about in terms of are they going to be able to nail the companions? Are they going to be able to nail the story? The writing. The writing is so important to BioWare. I've been replaying these games. Like Mass Effect, I know quite well. Dragon Age, I've been a little bit more unfamiliar with than Mass Effect. And recently, I've gone back and I've replayed Dragon Age 1 and 2. I'm hoping to hit on Inquisition at least a little before the Veilguard comes out. But even, I don't know, 2 is a little bit weaker than 1 for sure, but 2 does have solid writing. It's got a pretty darn good story, a very personal story, and it does have pretty okay companions. Actually, I think the companion side quests are quite detailed, quite in-depth. So the writing, and that's just Dragon Age. You think to Mass Effect. Mass Effect 2 probably being the pinnacle, right? And we've seen the comparisons. The sites that went out there and said that Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is the Mass Effect 2 moment. Those people that said that, the pressure's on, because Mass Effect 2 is quite the game. It's one of my all-time favorites. So if that's not true, those people are going to look quite silly. But that's what I'm hoping for. I want the characters to be good. I want the story to be good. The issue is, right, when it comes to the writing, you're really just not going to get a lot of that in the early previews. In fact, I think at most what we have gotten and what we will probably continue to get is more about the gameplay, right? More because you're going to be doing the gameplay for most of it. And I got to be real, in terms of the positives, I haven't really talked about those much. The gameplay does look really, really good. And I've said before, I'm willing to go with it. I think I like Dragon Age Origins combat. I actually really like Dragon Age's 2 combat, which is a bit more speedy, right? A little bit more fluid, but still kind of in the same vein of the first game. And then, yeah, Inquisition jumped, and Inquisition became kind of a different type of game. And this game is very reminiscent of Inquisition. So I have said I've been willing to go with them, and I think the combat does look really, really fun, to be honest with you. The combat looks like it's going to be something that I'm going to enjoy, and if the story and characters aren't strong, at least I'll have fun, moving my characters around and fighting enemies. At least I'll have fun doing that. But like I said, I want to believe in it. I want Dragon Age to be good. To be honest with you, I've never really thought Dragon Age has been bad. I don't think, it's a redemption for BioWare, and it's why Dragon Age the Veilguard is so important, right? It's a proof of something for BioWare. It's not necessarily a proof of anything for Dragon Age itself, because I like 2. I think Dragon Age 2 is a good game. I think Inquisition is a good game. Are they as good as Origins? I think some parts are actually better than Origins, and some aspects aren't as good, right? So I don't know, like Mass Effect, I feel like is the one that needs the redemption because of Andromeda. I don't think Dragon Age has had an Andromeda, to be honest with you. So I want more Dragon Age. It's been 10 years. It's been a very long time. And while I haven't been the most hardcore of fans, especially, recently going back and replaying them, like you can see a lot of things that are very special, and a lot of the core DNA of what made BioWare good. It's all over the place in Dragon Age, rightfully so. So I want this game to be good. I'm also getting it, by the way, in terms of, well, it's late October. I like to talk a little bit about like the scheduling as well. It's a little bit of a break, right? Like we get slammed with Metaphor and Dragon Ball and Silent Hill and even Life is Strange if you do the early access. Then you get a little bit of a break. Then you get Call of Duty, you get Sonic, you get this game. And November's pretty dead. So, I mean, there are games. Slitterhead is one. Assassin's Creed was actually moved, so that's not there anymore. But Dragon Age is a game that I expect will take me a bit, but not as long as Metaphor. I'm not going into Dragon Age expecting 80, 90 hours. I'm going into Dragon Age expecting 30 to 50 hours. And I like that. I mean, I'll do both because I'm actually, when you guys are watching this video, I'm probably playing Metaphor right now. So, I can do long games, and this is a long game, but it's not the longest. So, I mean, that to me kind of helps because, like, okay, this will give me something to do, in early November. And yeah, I just want the game to be good. So, to be honest, I mean, because I think people will ask, right? They're like, and people will read the title and they won't listen to my thoughts. So they'll say, "You really getting Dragon Age?" I'm getting it for the hope. I'm getting it because if things come together, if the characters are good, if the story is good, then I think this can absolutely be a Game of the Year contender. Now, that might sound crazy. That's fine. I don't really care. But I'm saying if things come together, if one of those things massively falters, then yeah, it's not up for Game of the Year, right? And by the way, Game of the Year, like in my head, not Jeff Keighley, not the Game Awards, for me, I think it has that potential if I really feel connected to these characters, if there's choices that mean something, right? And they stack up. If the story is good, something that Dragon Age has done pretty, there's been stakes. There's been good stakes in Dragon Age. There's been good companions. There's been good companion quests. They have stakes in terms of, do you even have all your companions going into like the final mission? Sometimes you don't, right? And I've made that mistake before in past games as well. So I think if they put it together, this can be a very special game. I'm not nearly as certain. I said the same thing for Metaphor. If Metaphor put everything together, it was like Persona and they cranked it up to 11, it could be Game of the Year. I was saying that back in June and May and stuff, and guess what? It seems like that happened. I am not nearly as sure for Dragon Age as I was for Metaphor, but that's the fun of it, right? That's gaming for you. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.